Hi everyone! I decided to build an advent calendar for the holiday season. And the advent calendar is actually the favorite part for me of the whole Christmas season. And I have to admit the physical one is better than the digital one, but still it's fun to try to bring it to the digital world. And we're going to fill every box with stickers from the Fiberplane universe, with content pieces that Fiberplane has created over the last year. And also we have some small surprises along the way. As a setup, we are going to use a Cloudflare Worker with the static asset binding. So we have a simple site using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and using some tools, or I'm using some AI tools to getting the HTML and the CSS, but I want to focus on the DOM manipulation myself, because although AI could build this quickly for us, I think it's still valid to go in and learn those things for yourself. And I've never really looked into DOM that heavily because I always end up with frameworks. So I decided, why not break it down to be very simple this holiday season, and also see how far we get, and maybe also see what other things we are going to include from here, because I think one part is, if you understand your code really well, it's easy to build up more features. And the problem with all the AI approach is probably if you end up with a large code base and you have no idea what's going on in there anymore, it's not a really good practice. So the end result will hopefully look like this. So we have an advanced calendar. You can open a box and then the box stays open, and we will have some logic in there as well to only open the boxes when we approach the day. So if we approach the 1st of December, we can open the 1st, and if we approach the 4th of December, we can open all of them here, and those should stay open as well. So let's start with the basic setup. All good projects start in a terminal, and for me also they start in my spaghetti directory. That's where my code lives. And for this you need, or for creating the project now, you need Node installed. Node is a way to run JavaScript outside your browser, and it comes with a package manager, npm, which will help us now to create the project. And I'm going to copy paste the command here from the Cloudflare documentations. I go with npm create Cloudflare at latest, and I'm going to pass it here, and let's run the wizard and see the setup. So now we need to give a directory for our application. So let's call it advent project. And we want to start simple, so we use a hello world example. We want actually a worker shell that is able to also serve static assets. So we go for the static site here. And now the wizard is setting up the project for us and installing the dependencies, creating all the necessary files. And depending on what you choose, it takes a while. You saw Cloudflare comes with a lot of predefined templates, frameworks you can use here. So depending what you install, it might take some time. We don't want to use Git for now, and we also don't want to deploy the application straight away. So I go here for no, and now I can go into my project folder and open it in the IDE of my choice, in this case Cursor. And here we are. In a Cloudflare project, you always see a Wrangler file that could be a Wrangler JSON-C or a Wrangler TOML, and that defines additional bindings for your project. And you can think of a binding as a connection point to additional resources you can use throughout the building process. For example, databases, AI features, they are all defined here, and they give you a way to securely connect to them, and also an easy way to use them in your project. And the binding that we are going to use here is the asset binding, and the asset binding will help us to serve a static site on our Cloudflare worker. And in this case, it points to the directory public, and the content here will be then served on a static site. So now if we look into the public folder, we see here is a HTML setup. We have a title, hello world. We have the H1 heading, and we have also some text here. This page comes from a static asset stored at public /index.html, sorry. And now if we want to run the project, we can simply go with npm run dev, if you want to see where are the scripts that you can run here, you can see them here, and actually the dev script here will spin up Wrangler locally for us, so to simulate a Cloudflare worker on our local machine. And if we do so, it's starting and it will be available at localhost 8787. So going here, we see the simple hello world page. And now that we have that, let's go and look how we can get a little bit more fancy HTML and CSS to have the starting point for the advents calendar. Okay, and let's stop the project for now and let's think how we can go about getting a front end here. And one thing I've learned is that Claude has a new plugin called Frontend Design, and that's the first thing I like to try out to see what type of front end Claude will give me. So I start running Claude in my terminal, and I want the front end design. So I want to activate that skill for Claude. Okay. What do we want? I kind of want, you saw the design that we spinned up earlier. I want an artsy advance calendar with 24 boxes that can be opened. It should follow sketchbook design in a light mode. Please include HTML and CSS. Okay, let's see. Okay, it took a while, but the front-end design plugin in Claude already. You saw along the way that I accepted that I can edit those files. It put something into the index HTML and also created the style CSS. So let's look into this and see a little bit what it created. A bunch of code actually. And I think it also already created some JavaScript. And well, if we like the design, we are going to remove it and we'll see how we do the script ourselves. We also have some suggestions here for our style. And actually, I'm curious to run this right now to see how that looks like and if we are satisfied. So let's spin up the server again. Okay, not too bad actually. There is some logic. It's not completely working, as you can see. The boxes are not turning into the right order here, but it's kind of nice. The first time I ran it, the design looked different, but this is already close to the thing that I showed you in the beginning. But I got it somewhere else, and I show you the hacky way how I achieved it because I was really satisfied when I saw the design and decided I want that. So let's go to another wipe coding tool here, and let's go to look at V0. Okay, this pretty much looks like the design that I showed you in the beginning, right? And I did it with a simple prompt here for V0, artsy advents calendar. I need help with the design, sketch notebook, black and white, 24 clickable boxes. It opens already a box, it closes it, and crosses those out that are open. So I think that is a really good start for what we are going to build because I'm really happy with that outline and design. So what I did here, and this might feel very hacky, and I download here the project and I'm going to unpack it and open it in Cursor as well. And yeah, so now we have actually the design that I want to have, but the problem is it is in a Next.js application, and I feel that's kind of an overload for our advents calendar. And I don't know, there's a global CSS, there are some public folders, and things. There's the app itself, but actually I'm going to ask Cursor, hey, can you how do we call it? Let's call it static, I don't know. And let's run Cursor here for a while. Okay, it created those files, and what we basically can do is if we go to our artsy calendar that has been created, and let's open it with Google Chrome. And here it is. So that looks fancy. And the design is here. Perfect. So we've used basically successfully AI to extract the design from a Next.js app. And we are going to look at the files now to see what it did actually. So let's have a look into the static folder. And I see already it has a bunch of things in here. But it actually does something really nicely. It also didn't do that the first time. It also has a function here to generate the event grid for us. The last time it was putting everything into the HTML. So maybe it learned, I don't know, because I asked it afterwards not to do that. We have the style here, and we have the HTML, which looks okay to me. And I think we are going to continue with that design. So let's use those 3 files and bring them to our project. And now I think the part is I want to keep the logic of the generated day boxes, but I don't want to have all the other logic because we are going to use our own knowledge here. So let's see. Okay, perfect. So we just keep the logic here to generate the grid. And now that's a good setup to start working on how we want to manipulate it and also what we want to do with the advanced calendar. I would say one thing, because that's already quite a function. I like to create a separate script here for it so we can keep things a little bit more modular. Okay, now we have the code here, and now let's use that one as an import. So we have generate boxes from, we can also include the JS extension here. And then there's one thing we need to change in the HTML to make sure the browser also supports the module import. And that's here in our script. Okay, let's do it like this. And then there's one more thing we need to change in our index.html. If we go to our script task, we have here the script linked, but we need to add the type. We want to do it module, I think. Because I'm not saving it here, if I would go now, the import would not work and our advent calendar would be empty. But if I save that now, it should handle those imports as well. And here we are. So this is our setup, and we are going to implement the advent calendar from here.